2, 3, 4, 5, 10. Okay, hello, internet world. Look at me here with my menagerie of animals. Can you even see them? The two of them are so dark. And then the dog is over here. You see him right there? Yeah, there he is. Anyway, okay. Let me put my phone down and enjoy this red light, which is oh so flattering. Okay, almost like a jack-o'-lantern right here. Okay, remember last night when I was talking about comic books and superheroes and how there's no rules to the shit it seems like? It seems like anything could happen at any time. And it's just unlimited, the type of things that comic books and the cartoons made out of them can just dump on you and just be like, yeah, what? You know? Okay, so tonight, since I'm all alone, you know, and stuff, other than these animals. Oh shit, I just realized back here is that creepy corridor, that creepy thing right there. If a ghost comes out of here and just goes across like that at 3 a.m., it's not 3 a.m. though, it's 11 actually. 11 right on the spot. Unless the clock is off, which it might be. But anyways, okay. I was on YouTube and I was like, let me try and find Kraven the Hunter in cartoon form. And I found this fucking cartoon that said it was from 1981, which I believe because it looked like it was from 81, and the sound. The shitty sound sounded like it was from 81 too. I also found that cartoon that I talked about seeing before, that I was only kind of like paying a quarter attention to and doing chores while the kids watched it and stuff. I found that one too. But that one was kind of weird to me because at the end, Kraven gets turned good at the end because he gets given a second potion that apparently takes away his animal instincts and gives him human instincts back. But then it's like, you know, he ain't gonna stay good. You know, he's gonna start fucking up again. How did that happen? And then, there was some domestic violence shit in there. And then I kept seeing these clips of him, like, pairing up with the Punisher. That should be a movie right there. I would watch Kraven and the Punisher together. That sounds sexy as hell. But anyways, that's not the point. The point is I watched this 1981 cartoon, and this shit is just the perfect that's why I had to make a second video. I wouldn't have, but it's just because this is such a perfect example of what I was saying. Okay? Like, so this is what happens. And I know people that grew up with comic books and grew up with these 80s cartoons probably are like, what? So it's normal. Like how I see Pokemon as being normal, even though it's anything but. But it's just like, okay. Basically, it's Jonah Jameson, whatever his name is. The, the newspaper boss guy with the little Hitler stash. And he's talking about, these people are in his office, and they're like, ooh, you shouldn't be paying Kraven to do stuff for you. That's kind of shitty, because isn't he evil or whatever? Isn't he on the villains list? And Jameson is like, I don't give a fuck. I want someone to do some hunting for me, and he's the best one. And then Jameson proceeds to explain how, apparently in this universe, in Antarctica, like, which don't even count how long it would take to travel from New York to Antarctica and back and forth, okay? Don't even care about that. But apparently in this world, Agartha or whatever is real. Because in Antarctica, he's pointing to a map of Antarctica and talking about how in the center of Antarctica, there is a tropical paradise. How is that fucking a thing? But no, it's just normal, you know? It's just acceptable and normal to be without question. And apparently this tropical paradise is like it's still dinosaur times down there. But it's like fantasy dinosaur times where, you know, dinosaurs of multiple eras and like Ice Age animals and caveman and all that stuff occurs simultaneously. So, and apparently it's extremely hot down there. Like, you can just walk around naked and there's tar pits and everything. So, Jameson is talking about how he wants a saber-toothed tiger. And he wants Craven to get the saber-toothed tiger for him. And these other two people are like, can you imagine? This should have been the Craven movie. They should have just made this into the movie with, like, no explanation. Because this shit would have been awesome. Like, just dump this on regular people without, like, acknowledging anything about how it's weird, you know? But, anyways, he's saying he wants a saber tooth. Why? I don't know. He just wants it. You know, like how I want a new Squishmallow. Like, and anyways, these people that are in his office are talking about, they're saying like, isn't that a bad idea because this saber-toothed tiger is best friends with the caveman that lives down there. And the caveman looks pretty much like He-Man. He just runs around in little buckskin underwear and boots. And he's otherwise naked. And he's hella jacked, like all these fucking guys. That kind of is what annoys me in these superhero things. Everybody's so jacked all the time. Even, like, don't even count the superheroes. Like, they're, like, regular people. Regular people and kids and teenagers and office workers are just, like, jacked. Like, why? Like, they're so boxy and square. Like in the fucking, what is that, the Batman show? You know, I have those episodes. And they just draw the men to be so buff. Even if they're like a regular ass dude who is not a superhero or anything. And I'm just like, why? That's why I like the Scarecrow, because he's the only man that gets to be like slim. Anyways, that's a whole different thing. So basically, they're saying like you should not capture the saber-toothed tiger because the saber-toothed tiger is best friends with He-Man, this He-Man looking dude, and he's gonna be pissed. And Jameson is like, I don't give a fuck, I want what I want, you know, and I already got Craven to get it for me. So then, cut to Agartha, and they don't call it Agartha, they have some other name for it. It's called like Strange Town or something like that. But it's basically the same thing, you know. A tropical paradise in Antarctica, like, why do people think of this shit? Like, at least Hollow Earth, as crazy as Hollow Earth is, you can kind of understand because it's inside the Earth, it's like hidden in it. The idea, I suppose, is maybe like it's closer to the mantle, so everything's hot. I don't fucking, know, but anyways. So Craven is in Agartha. He flies his own plane because, you know, all these superhero characters, they never have to worry about anything. They're all just completely set for all materials and tools and everything that they need at all times. So he's down there with like this little airplane, and his gadgets are like off the chain in this episode. He has like a pop-up electric cage, and and then later he has this lair. The lair is decked out. It's like, he has this, like, control panel, this big-ass control panel that's, like, one of those 1950s/80s computers. Like, you know, that type that takes up, like, a whole-ass wall. And it's just, like, everything is programmed in there. There's so many traps. There's so many things that fire arrows and bullets and darts and everything. It's, like, a whole automated thing. I feel like this dude is, like, He's supposed to be so wild and naturey, but he actually, like, I feel like has, like, a PhD in computer studies or something like that. But that goes for all these villains. Like I said, they always have whatever they need all the time. And they always have access to, like, factories. And they always have access to just so much crazy shit. But anyways, so Kraven attacks the saber-toothed tiger and then brings it into the pop-up cage. It's literally a pop-up cage. Like, it's like this flat just rectangle on the ground, but then a cage like pops up out of it. And he uses like gas to knock the saber-toothed tiger out, which I feel like there's a like distinction between, like, it's not so much a time distinction. It's not like, oh, this is 1950s, this is 60s and 70s. It's not really like that. But I don't know, I just feel like there is kind of a difference between, and this is not just cartoons, this is in general, like characters that use, like if they want to knock somebody else out, there's a difference between characters that use gas versus they use darts, you know? Like, I don't know, I just feel like that's the difference. Like, I feel like gas is more like fantasy oriented, whereas darts is more like sci-fi, because that's literally like, you know, you're like intruding into their body or whatever. Whereas gas is like, oh, they just breathed it, I didn't do anything. You know. But then you got the whole thing of like, oh, hit somebody in the back of the head and knock them out, which we all know is bad. But, anyways, so the point is he takes this saber-toothed tiger back to Jameson. I don't know how long that took. Seems like that will be like a 30-hour flight or something, but, you know, he brings it back, and then apparently in this world, Agartha, I guess, is just accepted by everybody. And the existence of saber-toothed tigers and crazy fucking shit like that is just accepted. Like, because nobody seems surprised. They don't even seem like, oh, isn't this the wrong environment? Like, nobody has a problem with this, you know? Nobody has a problem with this, I remember. Not a big problem. I mean, you know, maybe minor problem, like, I don't know if this is a good idea, but not like, oh my god, did you fucking bring a saber-toothed tiger up here? And Jameson's ass says that he goes to Kraven and they're just talking like they're friends. And he's just like, oh, and I should mention, I totally forgot to say this, Kraven is not Russian. He's American, just like in this new movie, so I thought that was kind of interesting. I thought he was always supposed to be Russian. And he wears ballet slippers, which I don't think is very good for, you know, living in the wild and stuff like that. You should be having some sensible shoes, but then I dismissed it because I'm like, okay, I think he's supposed to make all his own clothes, and he makes all his own clothes out of like skins and furs and stuff, so I don't think those are supposed to be ballet shoes. I think they're supposed to be like moccasins, basically, that he made with his own hands. But then there's like, they still have like lacing up the ankle and stuff. They look like ballet shoes. I don't know, that doesn't look very protective. But anyways, Jameson's talking to Kraven like they're fucking friends, and he's just like, I don't even know what I'm gonna do with the saber-toothed tiger yet. He didn't even have a plan. This would be the worst guy to like adopt an animal out to at the pound, because he's like, he has no enclosure to put the saber-toothed tiger. He probably doesn't even know how to feed it. He doesn't know shit. He didn't know shit about how to take care of a tiger. Like, this poor animal would be dead in his clutches. And he's just like, I'm happy I can have the last one for myself. Because I don't know what makes him so fucking rich. Doesn't he just run a newspaper or something? And he's prancing around like he's the fucking grand dictator of, like, a small country or something. Like, I don't even understand what's happening. Because, like I said, I'm not a Spider-Man fan. I find Spider-Man, the character, to be one of the most fucking annoying characters, like, there is. So I kind of stay away from, all that. But, you know. So all this stuff is kind of new to me. Whatever. So, but anyways. So, Kraven is like, I don't know, gonna take the saber-tooth tiger back to his, like, fucking compound. Because that's where it seems like he lives. Like, it seems like he lives in some wilderness area, but it's, like, a national park probably or something. Because everybody knows where he is and everybody can get there. And they just knock on the front door like it's fucking Fonzie's apartment. But then inside, the inside of the compound is also decked out to be, like, a forest, kind of. But like I said, it's, like, rigged up with, like, a bajillion booby traps and all this shit. So, I guess he was gonna take the saber-tooth tiger there. And then, well, Jameson fucking works his fucking plans out. And then Spider-Man is allergic to cats, but he keeps saying, I'm allergic to saber-toothed tigers. So, I don't know. Why didn't they just say he's allergic to cats? That would have been a perfectly fine joke, but he's like, I'm allergic to saber-toothed tiger. It's like, well, didn't they say this was the last one? So, you know, it's not like you're gonna run into him all the time. And then, meanwhile, the caveman, the He-Man looking guy, like, he realizes the saber-tooth tiger is gone. And obviously he's hella mad. Because he's talking about, oh, the saber-tooth tiger is my brother, my blood brother, and everything like that. And he's like, I pity the fool that stole my brother. So he hops on an airplane. How this airplane was going... I don't know. This is another different airplane. This is not Kraven's airplane. This is a different airplane that I guess would just happen to be stopping at Agartha. So people are just coming and going through Agartha, I guess, in this world. Like, this is going to be a pillaged, like, ecosystem before too long. But anyways, he goes in there and then they try to kick him out. But I guess by this point they're already over New York conveniently because he jumps out with a parachute. And then it's funny because he's causing havoc in New York by, like, standing in the road and everybody's, like, honking their horn at him and stuff like that. And he doesn't know how to act because he's not from the city, I guess. I have no idea who this character is. They said his name was Kesar or something like that. So, and it's funny because isn't the whole thing about Agartha is that they're supposed to be, like, some kind of Aryan paradise or some shit where everybody's, like, blonde and blue-eyed, and sure enough, this guy has blonde hair. So, interesting. But there's this funny part where, like, these two people think that he's, like, a surfer from California, and the dude is like, hey, Malibu's on the other side of the country, bro. And then the lady's like, oh, but his hair is so hot, though, which is, like, reminding me of Easy Rider. Which I'm happy that somebody else can appreciate long hair, you know, like, of course, this is the 80s, the early 80s. It was just the 70s, so long hair was much more appreciated back then. Long hair on men was much more appreciated. Not like nowadays when we live in a fucking hellhole of buzz cuts, which I hate. But, you know, whatever. What was I gonna say? What happens next?